chanting the wheel spin. And
Oh,
so when
yeah.
they watch it on YouTube, they'll watch the wheel spin, but we'll be like talking. We'll be like, spin the wheel, spin, something.
School.
That's what Kelly was all about when I told her we were doing Jack Black. She's like, School of Rock. I'm like, not yet, but it will be. It will be there.
So that one actually makes me nervous on which one that's going to be pitted up against.
I'd have a hard time if that one comes up against Pick of Destiny.
Yeah,
that's my nightmare scenario.
You're like, I can't.
I don't want that to happen.
Yeah. Are we ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to rumble?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the My Life, Your Life Together podcast. Zach back. Zach Jenkins.
Nick Covey.
Yes. It's nice to have you back.
It's nice to be back. Thank you.
Welcome
Happy New Year.
back.
So you were our first video podcast. We haven't done a video podcast since then. So how does that make you feel?
Proud, really.
Yeah?
A little scared.
Yeah.
Or
But also proud.
special.
Special.
Yeah.
Okay. Guys,
Listen, Pops.
you should have seen by now on social media that today's episode is the beginning of a spectacular series, the Jack Black Showdown series. I have affectionately named us three the My Life, Your Life Together Movie Squad. Movie Squad?
Movie Squad.
Baller. So we compiled every Jack Black major credit minus sequels, and you'll see what I mean shortly, minus sequels, into a spinny wheel of destiny. Agreement, rewatchability, quotability,
That's an important one for me.
storyline, and I thought Nick might really appreciate this one, but how the movie would be if Jack Black wasn't in his role and somebody else was.
I did think that was a good idea.
Yeah.
Because he brings a certain factor.
Yeah.
Right.
to the movies.
He's the Jack Black factor.
It is the Jack factor.
Yes.
Jack Black.
Nope.
No?
Jack Black factor.
Black.
Needs-
Jack
needs-
Black factor.
Jack
What?
Black factor. Just rolls off the
Sure.
tongue better. Before we get into it, I do want to say one thing. I think I forgot to even tell Zach this. We had an anonymous donor again to buy me a coffee.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know who it was. They didn't sign their name.
Oh.
So whoever it was, thank you. It's support like that makes it possible for us to do a lot of the things that are coming in the pipeline, such as remote interviews, which you'll see the first one next week.
A lot of cool remote interviews coming.
Yes. So thank
in the
you.
near future.
We really appreciate that. All right. That being said, we need to get down to the business.
Let's
Down to
It's not a Jack Black movie. We are here for Jack
Summary
Black
of
movies.
each movie.
yes,
Okay.
but didn't you wanted
Yeah.
to?
I thought before we could even begin talking about the movie, since this is our inaugural Jack Black episode, we could each discuss how we were first introduced to Jack Black.
Mm.
I was having a hard time figuring out exactly my first piece of Jack Black media that I consumed, but I do think I remember. I don't know the exact one, but I think, like back in my middle school days, on the internet, the Tenacious D like soundboards. Remember that where the drive-through, the Tenacious
Yes.
D drive-through skit where they would prank call people using the soundboard. I
Yes.
think that was my first Jack Black experience.
And that's when you fell in love.
Oh yeah. Well, I had no idea who he was. I didn't know he was like an actor. I didn't know anything about him. I was like, "Who's this dude ordering nuggets?" And being like, "I only want 4 nuggets, not 6. All right, give me half Coke, half Diet Coke. I'm trying to watch my figure." And then he orders like 100 things, but he's trying to watch his figure. And then Kyle Gass orders 2 things, and they pull up, and he's like, "Hey, you got any money, man?" Man, I got like $10. All right, cancel those last 2 things. So then I was like, all right, this dude's really funny. And then I heard the music, and I was like, wow, this dude can actually like really sing.
Yeah, he really is a fantastic musician. They both are.
Yeah.
if we're going down the line, I'm almost certain my first interaction with Jack Black was probably Nacho Libre.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Really?
yeah, because I don't know, I was fairly young when that came out still.
Yeah. What was that like?
I thought
And
that was high school days.
I don't know. I mean,
I want to say late 2000s.
I can
probably, right?
I can look it up. I mean, we can IMDb it.
Pre 2010, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I was like a young teen, wasn't I? Nacho. 2006.
2006.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I
wow.
was
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Which
That makes me feel old.
which tracks. So that was I'm almost certain that was it. And I mean, like, from the moment he said, "I've had the diarrhea since Easter's," I was
You were like,
I was
"I'm
pretty
sold."
yeah, I was hooked on him.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, I want to consume everything that Jack Black has to offer.
Lord's Cheeps.
And so yeah, what about you?
Mine was School of Rock. School
Okay.
of Rock was my first introduction to Jack Black. And
Which
it was
came first?
also, I think that came out, 2003?
Right around then, I think. Yeah.
So,
Oh, then maybe School of Rock was mine. I just don't remember it.
because, yeah, I think School of Rock came out like 03, 04. Let's see.
I know I didn't watch that right when it came out.
Oh, it was
Like, a couple
2003.
years.
And so,
Me too, but
I was like, that was also close to the time that I was kind of starting to get into music.
Yeah.
So I loved that movie. Like, I'd never seen Jack Black in anything, and just his like his goofy style and everything, and kind of over the top antics. I loved it. And then a few years later, Nacho Libre came out, and I grew up on the border. And this is what I tell people a lot, because I know a lot of people that absolutely hated Nacho Libre, and I'm like, for someone that grew up on the border in Hispanic culture, like, that movie was so popular. It was so funny. Like, it was hilarious. And so also after School of Rock is when I found Tenacious D. And so it was very quickly, all of a sudden I became like a Jack Black fan. And I've
Yeah.
been a fan ever since.
That's what I like most about him is I feel like he could have been like a rock star, but he also just refused to grow up. So he's
Yeah.
like half rock star, half silly dude who just does funny, like potty humor stuff.
Right. Like, he's in his 50s and still pulls like dumb pranks and
Yeah,
stuff like
exactly.
that.
that was good.
Good.
What else you got? Did you have something else? Or you
I
gonna
was
sprinkle
I was
things
gonna
in?
sprinkle some
All
fun
right.
facts in too.
All right.
But
Fun
I'd also
facts
like to
about
shout
Jack.
out Jack Black's YouTube channel because it is also really hilarious. It's called Jablinski Games, and it started out I think like during COVID, and it was gonna be like he was gonna stream video games, and that lasted about like 2 episodes, and then he just started like vlogging his life and him messing with his kids and filming movies and stuff. So you should check that out too. It's really funny.
Jablinski's Games.
Jablinski Games, yeah.
Jablinski.
Huh.
And maybe we'll collaborate with him sometime.
That's the dream, right?
Mr. Black, if you'd like to come on the My Life, Your Life Together.
Oh, that's a
podcast.
Brad Pitt movie. Mr. Black, or is it Meet Joe Black?
I think it's Meet
Oh, it's Meet Joe
Black.
Black. Never mind. Shut up. Everybody, be quiet. All right, guys. What movies are we comparing? What did the wheel tell us?
Kung Fu Panda
Juan.
The Wheel of Destiny.
versus
Which actually, when we spun that, I had not seen Jack Black's version of Gulliver's Travels.
I'd never seen either one of these.
I'd never seen either one of these movies either.
What?
Yeah, that's what my wife said.
What?
Yeah, I never see. so
How have
either-
y'all not seen Kung Fu Panda?
I know
I
that
don't-
movie was
yeah.
like huge.
So Kung Fu Panda has many sequels. Like I said, we're not going to include sequels.
And
It seemed
another
redundant.
sequel's
Yeah,
coming out.
correct.
Oh, yeah.
So only Kung Fu Panda 1, the OG, is on the
The
wheel.
original.
2, 3, and any of the come after
Is
that
he
are not.
in all of them?
Yes.
Yep.
He's the main
Okay.
character of all of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's his name in it?
Poe.
Poe.
Poe, that's right.
Poe the Panda.
Thought you took notes.
I did, but I didn't like write down his name.
The characters.
Oh, yeah,
When
I didn't
say
write
took
down names
notes,
for
I
anybody.
have like 5 things written down.
You're like, that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
didn't.
pretty much what I did. I was like, oh, that part I thought was really funny.
So I had heard that Kung Fu Panda was great, and I had heard that Gulliver's Travels was terrible. And, watching it back first impression of Gulliver's Travels. What a stupid name for something.
Yeah.
Was it a book first, or
Well,
was it like
I
that
know-
1939 movie?
I think it came out. I don't know if it was a
I
book first. Or
think
not,
it was
but I
a-
know there
I'm-
was a
I'm-
super old movie.
Hold on, we'll find out. I'm pretty positive it was a book first, then they
Okay.
made, and there are several renditions.
Movie came out. I really saw it. So
Mm.
this was my first time 2 days.
Yes, and I'm glad we didn't have to pay $14 to watch
I
it.
actually kind of liked it, but we'll get to that later.
So I guess we want to start out with, like you said, an overview of each movie, and then
Yeah.
we'll move on to our base impressions, and then we'll get down to the scoring.
Yeah, I think that's.
And then
good.
when we do our base impressions, we can do like things we liked about and didn't
Yeah.
like about it.
Yeah.
What's up?
So just some Gulliver's Travels facts.
Mm-hmm.
It was a satirical novel from 1726.
Holy
Wow.
moly!
Who wrote it? Anybody? else?
Jonathan Swift.
I actually think I heard that as a Jeopardy question recently. This 18th century satirist. I did just hear this yesterday. But I had no idea who he was or that he wrote Gulliver's Travels.
That's
Anyway.
what an awesome thing to have.
Yeah.
Like the day before we record this,
Yeah.
Jeopardy. That's awesome. Who wants to give me an overview of Gulliver's Travels, or do you want me to do it?
Go for it.
Okay, I have no idea. I didn't pay attention. No. So Jack Black plays Lemuel.
A loser.
He's just somebody who was vibing through life.
Well, I will say that he was vibing through life, but he also was just somebody who didn't live up to his full potential.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Kind of like me in middle school and high school. Not necessarily a loser, just somebody who didn't really try that hard. in
That's
life.
good. Okay, you're a realist.
Yeah, I've
I
grown
dig
up
it.
since then, but I'll admit it.
So he plays the titulatura character, Lemuel Gulliver. And
He works in the mailroom.
who's giving the overview?
I'm just helping out.
Do I need help? I do need help.
Sometimes.
So,
So-
he works in the mailroom at some
Some
company.
newspaper or magazine or something.
I
like
believe
that,
it's a
right?
magazine. Been there for 10 years. He's kind of portrayed as this adult child, not really down on his luck, but like Nick said, not living up to
Just
his true
kinda
potential.
coasting.
Yeah.
He's in love with an editor.
Yeah, what's her name?
Um,
Man.
is it Jan?
No.
Your Majesty?
Can't remember.
Zach's gonna look up names for us as we go through this.
Obviously,
It's gonna be
this
great.
movie was quite memorable.
Well, no, I don't remember names. That's
I
dumb.
don't either.
And so he wants to impress her, so he lies about writing credentials, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a travel writer. You know, write something about one of your travels."
Darcy Silverman.
Darcy.
Wow, I was not even
Darcy.
close.
I remembered it was
You were
something
way
wrong.
off.
Which is bad because in my notes I have her name Jane.
Wait, was the princess named
Nope.
Jane?
No.
Nope, that's
okay.
Princess Mary.
Nobody named
Yeah,
Jane. in the
guys,
movie.
shut up.
Sorry.
And so he goes home and he plagiarizes something and hands it in.
Also like me in middle school and high school.
Preach it. Plagiarizes, hands it in to impress the girl. She's gobsmacked by it. Sends him to the Bermuda Triangle to do a piece about an island there. And, you know, he gets into a store and goes through this whole wormhole, whirlpool kind of thing. Ends up with a bunch of tiny people around.
In a kingdom
Yes,
of
he
tiny people.
but he's still his normal size, so he kind of becomes like a god to them. He can do anything.
Yeah, he's like huge.
Yeah. And then, you know, there's some inner conflict in the city between him and the kingdom's general at the time. And then there's a war going on between other tiny humans. And, you know, through that all, Jack Black's character, or Gulliver, I'm going to call him Lemuel.
Lemuel.
Lemuel
Cool.
kind of falls out of grace because he admits that he lied to the kingdom about, you know, his stature in America.
Yeah,
He
took
said he
all
was the
his-
president. He said he took credit for Sweet Child of
Titanic.
Mine, Titanic,
Yeah,
Sweet
Star
Child of
Wars,
Mine.
he was
Yeah.
in and he was in.
Which is honestly like, would any of us do anything different?
No.
Yeah, right.
Like, come on, that's sick. Happenstance, Darcy ends up having to do the travel piece with him because she found out that he plagiarized, and now she can't trust him. She goes through the same whirlpool wormhole thing.
Somehow he still gets cell service on this mysterious island.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Well, actually, he didn't have service. He just got voicemails,
Yeah.
like on the way to the island, maybe, and then
Right, yeah, I don't know.
who knows. But then Darcy shows up. You know, there's another confrontation between him and the contentious general that had gotten into it earlier, and
The guy builds a giant robot
General builds a giant robot.
because he saw Jack Black's magazine that said how to build a giant robot.
That's true. I skipped over that. This isn't a great.
He gets when he falls out of grace with the kingdom, they banish him, and he gets sucked into. He goes
Oh,
through
yeah.
the fog and goes to another island.
Which really
that's
confused me.
Yeah, with like a bigger girl, and then
that's
he was
like
a
full of
tiny human.
giants, and so
yeah,
he's
like
a tiny
still regular
person.
size.
Yeah, and a dead Air Force pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But she's gianter than him.
Yeah, and there's no parents around. It's just her.
Yeah, that part was kind of weird.
It was very weird.
I'd like, I should have watched the original to see how it compares.
I don't.
Because I bet you it's not even close.
Probably
it's not.
Yeah.
Probably.
I
not.
mean, the tiny people is
Right, the basic
yeah.
premise of it.
So yeah, and then eventually he beats the giant robot.
Yeah, there's a lot of wedgies involved.
Yeah, and he falls back into the king's good graces. They help build the ship. Lemuel, and Darcy go back home, and ship because he's been in love with her.
Magical lands.
And they live happily ever after, writing magazine travel articles.
Yeah, he gets out of the mailroom.
Yeah,
Not that there's anything wrong with being in the
there's
mailroom.
nothing wrong with
but,
being in the mailroom. Elf makes it look fun.
I don't know.
on the table.
And synopsis of Kung Fu Panda. Who wants that
It
one?
actually kind of starts out in a similar way where he's like a dude who's kind of immature. Well, when I say dude, I mean Panda. He's just another guy who's not really living up to his dreams and living up to his potential. He's a panda. He works in his dad, who is a bird. So he works in their restaurant.
We're gonna cover that later too.
And he really wants to be a kung fu fighter.
Master.
And he idolizes these guys. What do they call them?
The Furious Five.
Something like
I think
that.
it's Furious Five,
There's
something like
five
that.
of them. And so somebody's gonna have to help me out here. He manages to find his way to the temple, all by happenstance.
During
Then one.
main head kung fu master guy is going to determine who the dragon warrior, who's this
Dragon warrior,
prophesied,
thank you.
That's right.
this prophesied warrior, and he's going up just to try to get in and watch.
Sell noodles because his dad wants him to as well.
Yeah, his dad runs the noodle shop. So by some random happenstance, he ends up getting blown up by fireworks and stuff.
He straps
and dropping
himself to
out of the
fireworks.
sky.
He tries to get a better view.
Yeah.
So he straps fireworks to his chair, and then he falls out of the sky, and the master's like, "We've been given a gift. This is the actual
Dragon warrior."
When he's really just a big fat panda who doesn't know how to do anything.
Oh,
And then
that resonates with me.
So then obviously he starts, training. And also at the same time, the big bad villain who was the former, kind of teacher's pet pupil, who was the prodigy, who imprisoned because he turned evil and was taking over the world.
Who was played by the guy who played the dad in Hot Rod, which I thought was
Yeah.
really funny.
Oh
That's-
yeah, Ian McShane.
Yeah,
I love Ian
that's awesome.
McShane.
I didn't know that that's.
I was like, I know
who
that
the
voice from
was.
somewhere.
My favorite thing is that you said he plays the dad in Hot Rod and not he was in Deadwood.
Yeah.
He was in. I mean, this was after, but the John Wick movie.
That shows
Yeah.
what my priorities are.
Yes.
Really.
Listen,
Just-
Hot Rod is another fantastic
I
movie
love Hot Rod.
that we could do a movie review of it sometime.
Totally. I'd love to do that.
But so that guy that is breaking out of prison and coming for his revenge, and nobody can stop him. He's this wild kung fu prodigy. So they're relying on the Dragon Warrior to defeat. I can't remember what his name is, but the big bad.
It began with a T. I'm almost certain.
Tai Lung or something like that.
It is something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Everybody was Kung Fu Panda.
Be-dee-dee-dee-ding-ding-ding.
Yes. Angelina Jolie was Tigress?
Yeah.
Oh, you're totally right. It is Tai Lung. I
Wow.
would have never gotten that right.
Dang, you're good.
I'm
My
a Kung Fu Panda fan.
My favorite actor in that movie, though, is David Cross as the crane.
Yeah.
Him. Oh my god, I thought he was so funny in that.
The movie's about the dragon warrior and him really nobody thinking he's the actual dragon warrior because he just mistakenly dropped in to this situation and got dubbed, to him training and failing and
It's a tale of perseverance.
right.
That's
and
true.
people like going up against the defeated to where Poe is the only hope left, and
Overcoming the odds.
him finding like his true identity to be able to unlock kung fu
Living
powers.
your dreams. I'm running out of inspirational.
I'm-
thoughts to say.
I'm trying to find a I'm trying to find a fun
Running out
fact
here.
here, and I'm just having
A fun
issues.
fact about the movie.
Kind of.
Uh-oh.
I have a few
Uh-oh.
Jack Black fun facts.
Hold on. Pause for dogs.
Uh-oh.
There's no pause for dogs. I can't edit this out.
We've had a light
Yeah.
here. Wait, if we just sit exactly like we were with the eyes there. Sounds like a good time for our first Jack Black fun fact.
Do it.
His real name is actually Thomas. Thomas Jacob Black.
I feel like I read that once when I was a teenager and forgot immediately.
Yeah. He eventually went by Jack, obviously.
Yeah. It flows better. No, what I realized is the guy who plays Zhang, who's in it for a short time, and then Mr. Ping. So Dan Fogler plays Zhang, and James Hong plays Mr. Ping, and they're the two actors in Balls of Fury.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dan Fogler plays like the ping pong guy, and Mr. Ping plays the blind grandfather, the girl that
Really?
like he falls in love with.
That's awesome.
Some fun facts about the movies, like our impressions of them all.
Yes. Which
Yeah,
one
which
are we
one?
starting with?
Let's start with Gulliver's Travel. Put a few things down.
I'm going to say first off, I actually enjoyed this more than it seems the rest of the world did.
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, probably because it was so like vehemently spoken against as like a horrible movie.
Yeah.
It's a mid 2000s Jack Black movie.
Right.
Like, what do you want?
I just thought it was like they're pretending he wrote it. Like he has them all a made up theater. He's watching Star Wars and Titanic.
Yeah.
I'm like that resonates with me as someone who grew up in the 2000s. I thought it was really funny.
See, so I had an interesting one for the reason that I have seen the original. Well, not the original, not the 1939, but like the 1996 Gulliver's Travel. So I think,
I didn't even know there was one.
yeah. So
had
I
no idea.
think that kind of tainted my ability to enjoy this movie. It's not Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah, it seemed like they took it and tried to like.
Trying to recreate another story, I think I would, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I see why people didn't like it. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get
especially if
that.
you know the
Yeah, I
original
get it.
story.
I kind of looked at it from the opposite lens because I was like Jack Black in these movies. So I was like, which is a more Jack?
That's a good point.
I thought that he was like the impression that I got based off of these two movies was that it was more like he got to be more himself
Definitely.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't geared to as young of an audience. You know, there's like some crass humor. There's some swearing. It's still definitely like a younger
There's him
audience.
peeing on people.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, it is kind of dumb, but it was pretty funny when he peed out the fire.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
that was great.
I thought
That was the thing I put down. It was really funny.
Yeah. And I love T.J. Miller was in it. I love him.
Yeah. When just the interview process.
Yeah.
When it's like, I forget what Jack Black said or Lemuel said, whatever. G. Miller's like, yeah, well, people born are every year. So he's like, good, you're hired. And TJ Miller's like, I was hired yesterday by Human Resources. Then at the end of the day, he's like, by the way, I'm your boss now.
Yeah, when Jack Black is in there playing Black.
And the comments that he says as he's walking out and like the scene's ending, and he's like, "Yeah, we're gonna be making some changes." First of which is no Guitar Hero during work hours.
There was little things in it, and Jason Segel is in it. That surprised me. I had no idea he was in it.
That was fun. I like Jason Segel and Emily Blunt. That was
Emily
great.
Blunt. She did a
She was
fantastic
good
job.
in it, too.
And what's her name? Fran from the. Is it Fran from The Office?
Yes,
She comes in the later seasons. Yeah.
I don't remember her. Who was she?
She was the king. She was the queen, the king's wife.
Oh yes, I knew I recognized her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And then Billy Connolly, like, who's just a powerhouse actor. Like, there's some giant names in this movie.
Yeah, overall, I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. I laughed more than I thought. Like, I actually sat there and laughed at it.
Same. Some of it I was like, all right, that's just kind of stupid. But again, looking at it from the perspective of appealing as a children's movie, probably.
Yeah. I actually, the more that we're talking about it in that light, and I think what you said about originally from I'm looking at it from the story of Gulliver's Travels, and that made me like, why this is just like dumbing down but
It's like
look, there even with that other perspective, I did enjoy opinions, all that matters.
See, my third note, when he's going through the storm on the boat, he said he put on.
Oh yeah, I thought that was funny too.
He put on all the floaties.
And he puts one on his head.
This was so funny because summers ago, and we had a tube to be pulled behind the boat, and I guess it wasn't graded to be pulled behind the boat, and so it immediately popped.
Like an inner tube and
yeah, it immediately popped, and so we're out on this boat. We were looking forward to tubing. We're like, what do we do? So we took every life vest, and I'm going to ask Joe if I can include the picture for during the video. He might not want it for valid reasons. We put every life vest we could have, and then Joe jumped off the boat and just held onto a rope with all the life preservers on.
so
and
he was a human tube.
Yeah, he
basically.
was just a human tube, and I just got really loud in my ears. But yeah, he was a human tube. It was an awful decision. He almost drowned.
With all the life preservers.
Yeah, well, because
careful, kids, life preservers can make you drown.
Like
too many of a good thing.
Yeah, we booked it, and then it almost like went to his bottom half, so his top half was underwater.
Oh,
yeah, and so it was just like. Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was hilarious. So as soon as I saw him put all them on, I just saw like Joe in the movie of Gulliver's Travels. I'm like, yeah, Joe did not die. He's flourishing.
He's been on the podcast. He's alive and well.
Which leads me to my fourth question that I put here, and this is a serious question. You see Jack Black's butt crack in the movie.
It absolutely is his.
Was it Jack Black's or his name was for that?
Okay, I've seen videos in the like TikTok, Vine, YouTube era of Jack Black running around in the buff.
So what you're saying is you can identify Jack Black by his butt crack?
No.
I think that's what he.
I definitely could not, but to put it out there, he is comfortable with his body.
More for butt crack.
Yes.
I know I would.
I definitely
would. I want to see crack. I need a little bit of extra dough.
Hey.
And arguably you show butt crack because you already have too much dough.
True. That is true. Yeah. I'm feeling that right now.
But that was like an instant, genuine question that popped into my head when I saw the butt crack. I was like, do you think it's like he's not above that? That's Jack Black.
That's a thought that would never occur to me. Like
I was gonna say,
still works on me enough where I'm like, it's just a given that it's his butt crack for me.
Yep, none of those thoughts popped into my mind.
Okay, we already touched on the peeing on the fire, but I think that's worth mentioning.
Yeah.
To put that to mention, I'm pretty sure that's actually also in the original.
The peeing on the fire?
Is peeing
Really?
to put out the fire.
All the things
That's
that
sick.
you could have told me were not including the technology stuff. The peeing the fire out would not be the thing I would think was in the original.
But think about it. If
Although
you
if
were
it
a
was a
giant
satire.
human and these tiny people's houses are on fire, and you can't find a source of water.
I mean, you say you can't find a source of water here. That was my thought. I was like, just grab some water.
That's what I was like.
with your
Oh,
hands
he's gonna go to the ocean, like put it in his mouth or something.
Yeah,
and just be like,
something like that.
but that part made me laugh because again, my brain went right to like that's James Corden. To like, I imagine them pitching the script to them, be like, all right, guys, in this scene, Jack Black is gonna pee on you,
Right.
A giant,
and it's
Jack
gonna be
Black.
hilarious. And then Billy Connolly, who's been in so many movies, is just like, yes. I'd try to do a Scottish accent, but I can't, so never
Yeah.
mind. Or
It's
Irish
hard to
accent.
with one word.
Yeah.
Especially yes, I mean.
Yes. Nope, that's not it. That wasn't close. All right, you guys are laughing. You try it. Irish accent with yes. No. If you're gonna laugh that hard, do it.
No, because I know I can't
Do it.
I just say yes.
That was Scottish. That was Sean Connery.
I guess it was.
It
Sean Connery,
counts.
wasn't it?
Sean Connery.
Still counts. But yeah, I mean the peeing on, and then the statue of
I thought that was
the
funny,
ice
too. I noticed
statue
that.
The
of
ice
him
statue
peeing at the
of him
banquet,
being
That
at
was
the feast
hilarious.
afterwards was really funny.
and that was pretty peeing already on hand.
Yeah, right. I was thinking at that banquet, I was like, what are they gonna feed him? How do they possibly have enough food for someone?
Yeah,
that
how do
big?
you
Right.
get full?
Yeah.
And he picks up and is like,
It's just like
and I'm like, that would have been like, it's not
barely
even a
enough to wet
shot.
his whistle.
Yeah, it's like a couple drops.
I have down. He yells when the general who doesn't like Lemuel brings down the city's defenses, and so the enemy city can attack. And so then he challenges Lemuel to walk out and basically fend off this attacking city. And so it's Baywatch esque. They're attacking from the sea. I guess that's important.
It's like 1700
And-
ship
yeah.
style.
And so he goes out there, and they open fire with the cannons on him, and obviously it doesn't hurt him because he's so huge. And I'm pretty sure that's the point where he like says, "I'm invincible." And whenever I hear those words, I think of Boris from GoldenEye.
I don't remember.
Remember that?
No,
Mhm.
I don't either.
the game or the movie.
The movie. He goes, "I am invincible," and then there's like an explosion, and he dies. He's not. Oh, okay. Well,
Edit this part out.
no, we're not because that's a great reference.
I did think it was funny though. In both movies, there was a scene that made a point of something bouncing off of his belly.
Yes.
So, but that's also kind of very Jack Black.
Yeah,
He makes
exactly.
fun of his own weight
Right.
all the time in like every movie.
Yeah, that's. I just thought it was funny. They're like, oh yeah, it's Jack Black. We got a funny chubby guy. Let's bounce
Because I'm
something off his
sexy and chubby, man.
belly. Yeah.
You're fat and you have body odor. See me after class. School of Rock quotes.
I see you have music written down. I agree.
Yeah, the
there
music
Oh, the
and
music
score.
was great. Yeah.
was awesome.
I
And
almost
that's
made that
to
a
be
grading
expected
criteria.
with Jack Black.
Yeah,
You know.
for sure. He also. What's that movie with Will Smith where he plays the dating coach? Come on,
Oh,
help me out here.
Hitch.
He plays Hitch for Jason Segel and Emily Blunt, and it doesn't work because he gives horrible advice.
Yeah,
do
for the
realize
peasant
kind of
and the
that-
princess.
But it does work
It
eventually.
works eventually, but it works when Jason Segel's like, "Hey man, your advice sucked. I'm gonna be myself."
yeah.
Yes.
So
I actually really did love the scene where the peasant guy is there trying to talk to the princess on the balcony, and Jack Black's hiding
Prince song.
behind the building and like
yeah,
giving him
feeding him the lyrics.
the
of
lyrics
Prince
of
song.
yeah,
I thought that
a
was
Prince
hilarious,
song.
too. I did think that was funny. That was great, and it was working.
And it was
It was working.
Yeah.
Prince was smooth. R.I.P. You know.
Yeah.
yeah.
Watch out for no, never mind. I mean, see, I called her Jane right there, and you can tell I was taking notes as I watched.
Like Tarzan.
Maybe, what's your name, Darcy? You can tell I was writing notes while I watched the movie because I literally said when Gulliver fights the mech robot again at the end, Darcy's on the island and he sees her imprisoned and chained and stuff,
Oh yeah.
and so he frees all the little people. The miniature people?
Yeah.
The miniature
should
people.
Lines and just drags all the boats out. I love that where
Yeah.
he's just sitting there like
Yeah, just splashing
splashing.
around. Yeah, like I used to do in the pool when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think that just about covers it. Should we get to the grading here?
I mean,
Anybody
Do we want to mention the island with the giant child girl? That was a really
What do we
weird,
mention about it?
disjointed
I mean, if you guys
part.
have something to talk about, that was just weird.
I
And
was
it's
just really confused by that. Is that anything like that in the original or the old
I mean, if I remember correctly, in the original, he goes to 2 different islands, and one's miniature people where he's a giant, and then he goes to another island where he's a miniature people among giants.
So it is kind of similar.
But there was more to it than just he
Yeah, 'cause
gets
that was like a 10-minute scene. Like,
yeah, where he gets
no-
captured by this giant child put in her dollhouse. The Air Force pilot who's dead and skeleton inside his flight suit now was kind of interesting but weird and creepy at the same time.
I thought he was going to take the helmet, honestly.
I was hoping was
Like, he
gonna
took the
take
parachute, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, I thought he was going to take the helmet, get some head protection for the mech fight.
Yeah, that would have been a
Oh.
good idea.
So do we want to rate, like, out of 5 or out of 10? Let's do out of 10.
Out of
Yeah,
10.
10's better.
Okay, so down the line, Zach, enjoyment rating 1 to 10. 1 being the least, 10 being the most.
I would say a 6. Like there were parts that I enjoyed, but overall it was kind of a wonky. Not my favorite.
Yeah. I mean, we can do decimals here, by the way.
I was just
Do you want to
gonna
stick?
6.34. I'm just
No.
kidding. No, stick with 6.
How
Six?
many decimals can we go to?
I would give it a 5, probably a 5.3, if I'm being honest. Give it a 5.3 because I did enjoy it, and I don't want to enjoy it.
Okay. I was going to give it a 7.6.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny. It entertained me.
Okay. Next up is the enjoyment not enjoyment, rewatchability.
I'm gonna give it a 1. I probably won't watch it again. Maybe, but
Yeah.
probably not.
This one's tough for me because I'm at a point in my life where I like really don't rewatch a lot of things.
Mm.
But if someone hadn't seen it and they were like, "Hey man, I really want to watch this movie," I'd probably watch it again.
Okay. Give it a 4. Yeah, I was gonna give it a 3. Because I don't know. I just feel like I'm gonna indoctrinate my child to watch Jack Black, and
Yeah.
this is an easy movie to start out with because it is, for the most part, child appropriate.
Yeah.
Quotability. So, how many quotes can we take from this movie and use in our daily lives?
So, the way I think about it, honestly, there's not very many quotes from this movie that pop up. Like when I watch Jumanji, all of those movies, instantly there are quotes.
Yeah, there are some quotes from those movies that you've only seen the movie one time,
And
the
it
quotes
is
stick
it
out
is in your head. This one, I gotta give it another 1. Like even as I was watching the movie and thinking about quotes, like nothing stuck to where right now all I can think of is boosh.
Boosh was a good one.
Yeah.
And
Are you
going
gonna stick with one though? Yeah, I feel like because a lot of the things he does, he's already quoting something that's happened, but he's saying
Right.
it to the island people that
Right.
don't know it. So in terms of original quotability, I would also give it a 1.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. The full screen.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's gonna like cut out our faces.
That's good because if I hold
Yeah.
up my score, people will see my armpit sweat, and I don't want that.
Yeah. Wow. That's what I would look like. Do I have armpit sweat right
No,
now?
I can't see it through that.
Sweet. Guys, the sand crew net.
They look
And
fire.
And fun fact, I figured for shipping and printing, so prices did come down a little bit. Check
Or
out
if
the
you
Etsy
wanna
store.
pay extra, Zach will armpit sweat into one.
Statement.
Get it
If you want,
for yourself.
Yes,
it's like a custom, personalized.
yes, my natural musk. Storyline. This is a tough one for an original story.
Right.
Right. And do you grade it on the overall storyline, which, like we just said, is not an original story, or do you grade it on what they did
Right.
with the way that they modified
I
the
mean, in my
storyline?
opinion,
You have to do it that one.
I've
The
never-
modifications?
I've never seen the original, so I don't know. I was gonna give it its own standalone.
Yeah, I'd say standalone. Even if you know the story and the storyline has changed, like we're not comparing it to the original storyline. The storyline that is in this movie,
Right.
how much do you like it?
So I would say I actually do like the storyline. I do like the concept of this, traveling and getting sucked into, this wormhole, whatever, warp to different lands with different. It's a cool concept, and I like I said, I think the one thing that kind of got me was the differences between the original and the Jack Black remake. So I actually do like the storyline. If I'd only seen the Jack more, so I would say I'd give it a 7 for a storyline. I think it's an interesting concept.
Zach is not a fan of decimals, apparently. Guess not.
You guys only did decimals on your first ones.
That's true.
Fair, but still, that's
Ha!
one more than you. I did like the storyline as well. Like, that was one of the, I don't want to say redeeming qualities, because again, I don't think it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
So, I would give the storyline, like, it had good, I mean, it was, you could predict that there was going to be a peak, then he was going to get caught, and there was going to
Right.
be a trow, and then it was going to, culminate at the climax, and it was all going to be great. So,
That's also basic
Yeah.
storytelling.
But I think it was done well, though. So I was also going to give it a 7.
I thought the modern take on it was pretty good, even though I've never seen the original. But I like the things that they threw in there, like when he's pretending he was in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Obviously, that stuff wasn't in the original, and I thought that was one of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
They built a theater, and he had these little guys
Acting
reenact
out.
Star Wars, hold up little fake Darth Vader masks. He's like, "Oh, you gotta watch!" And then the big reveal that Darth Vader is Luke's father. They're all like, "Oh man!" Like nobody saw it coming. I thought that was really funny.
I like, you died. He's like,
survived?
yeah, but they resuscitated me. I did die,
Well-
but they brought me back to life.
And the fact that he passed those stories off not as like, oh, these are fun stories from my land. Like, nah,
In all of them.
I was
Yeah.
Jack from Titanic. I was Luke from Star
And he's
Wars.
like playing music on his phone for the festival and stuff. I thought it was funny. I liked it. I'll give it a 7.5.
Beautiful. All right.
This next question, I think, is super important.
This is very important.
Go ahead.
I have a question on how we're gonna rate this. So it was better because he was in it.
So the question for the viewers is, how would the movie be without Jack Black in his role?
I think we should rephrase
I'm
it.
not going to give. And there's your decimal.
It's tough because I feel like I should give it a 10 because that's what I believe. But I feel like saying it's a 10.
I feel like there are other people who could do a good job,
Yeah.
but not obviously the same.
Yeah.
Like I think a perfect 10 would be, unless
No
it's
one could
Jack
do-
Black, this movie
Yeah.
would suck. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give it an 8. Which is still a pretty high score.
That's I think it's
But-
around an 8.
I think there are other actors who, if they were in it, I movie eventually.
It would have been a different feel, but I think it still could have been funny. I'll give it an 8.5. I think that's fair.
All right. Kung Fu Panda. I took less notes because it was a better movie. No, I like
Recap.
so-
Right?
Yeah, we recapped
yeah.
it.
Okay.
We
Fantastic movie.
I was drawn into this movie more. The first thing I wrote down. What's up with animated films and just any animal can have any animal as a child?
So, hold on.
What?
There's
yeah.
there
How
there.
you gonna say something in the sequel?
Yes.
I figured because at the end they
Ah.
kind of hint at something because he says like, "How are you my dad?" or "Are you even my real dad?" or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
Spoiler. He is not. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's adopted.
Ah.
It's gotta be.
So
And let me
it's
guess.
it's
Hold on a second. Let me guess. I don't know if I want to guess, but I'm thinking that his actual panda parents were like kung fu masters or something.
I'm not confirming or denying any of that because you guys need to watch the
No, I am
sequels.
gonna. I want to
I
watch
do
it.
wanna
Because they're
I
actually
do.
really good.
Yeah.
As far as animated series that have sequels and multiple sequels, I think Kung Fu Panda is one of the best series when it comes to that.
Okay.
But yeah, so I also thought I do like it though how they leave that in and kind of open
Yeah, it was
ended.
just barely mentioned at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's this weird, quirky, funny like wait what?
It was like totally a one-off line. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
they're not gonna discuss that more.
because it's this little goose and this giant, big ol' fat panda.
That answers that.
Okay. I wrote down David Cross
So good.
I love him. He's hilarious.
David Cross is
He
hilarious.
just has such a funny, dry, awkward sense of humor.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
I loved Master Oogway. That's a great way
That's-
to put it.
That's person.
Yeah.
I
What was his trainer?
Shifu?
Shifu.
Master
yes.
Shifu.
Okay.
I applaud his effort for trying to bring the noodle cart up the stairs.
Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh.
That was so funny. And
Yeah.
like it actually
Trying to-
got me because he's like bringing there's a point where like the whole village is gathering up to watch, ceremony for the
Coronation of the dragon.
of the dragon warrior. And so Poe, Jack Black's character's name is Poe. His father tells him to take the noodle cart and make a bunch of money selling noodles, and he's like, okay, and he gets it, and it's like there's just stairs on stairs. It's like the never-ending staircase in Mario, and it shows him like dragging the cart up, and my first thought was, why doesn't he just sell it at the bottom? But
Right before everybody goes in.
yeah,
But then everybody would have to bring their noodles all the way.
yeah, but it's easier for someone
And
to carry a
it's
bowl of
like
noodles than him to do the cart.
Walking up 10,000
I
steps.
also like that they went back and like touched on it a few more times every time he had to go up the stairs.
Yep. And then like it shows like a zoomed in version, like
Yeah, I thought that was funny too. I like that part.
So I actually really liked how relatable Poe is as a character.
Yeah.
Because he's really just this, like, he's not a deadbeat because he works in his dad's restaurant, but he's just this kind of like dorky, nerdy kid that's working for action figures of the Furious Five, of the like Kung Fu Warriors, that he still is like, ha ha, playing with and idolizes them, and yet just,
He's not that dissimilar to Lemuel Gulliver, really.
that's true.
that's true.
Kind of a guy who's just okay with his place in life.
And then you think about like, okay, he gets like dubbed the Dragon Warrior and is now in the kung fu, like temple training and stuff, and he's like absolutely fangirling out
Yeah.
over all the other kung fu, masters that he's now training with as
Yeah,
a
he's like-
peer for all these years. Like how many of us would do that, like,
Right. Sneaking around at night, like past their rooms and stuff.
and being like, "Oh my gosh, would you sign my,"
Right,
like,
and he breaks the floor when he's walking around.
You're
so
right.
fast.
Like, it's totally relatable. Like,
Oh,
think
yeah.
about if all of a sudden, like, you get signed to your favorite NFL team,
Right.
and now you're in the locker room with all these, and you're like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
oh my god. Like, you would be I would.
I'm
I'd be like,
Jalen Hurts locker, and then I like try to put his jersey on and rip his jersey or something like that.
and then try to secretly put it back without anyone noticing.
Okay, here you go. I want to say before I forget, and this is skipping like all the way to the end of the movie, the finger technique.
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
The whooshy finger hold.
Did he kill that dude? Like he exploded that guy. What happened? They never show him again. And Zach knows, of course, because he's seen the sequels. But I'm like, they just show him because in the beginning, the Master Shifu, right? That's his name.
Yeah.
He like threatens to do it to Poe. And he's like, you know what happens if I flex my pinky? And he doesn't flex the pinky. Well, at the end, spoiler alert, obviously, Jack Black gets the bad guy in that hold, and he's like, and that's where the skadoosh line comes.
And
in.
it's like a nuke.
And it just shows this explosion.
Which makes the beginning to Poe even more hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
he
oh,
threatened him with like a nuclear nation.
Right. To completely annihilate him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just because he didn't like him at that part, too.
Yep, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
does
he
that get covered in the
vaporizes him.
sequel? Oh,
I don't think.
oh,
it
he
really-
gets vaporized though.
I don't remember them like specifically addressing it, but like he doesn't come back.
Oh, he's kind of baller though. Oh well.
Vaporized.
Guys,
Yeah.
are there rhinos in Asia?
Yes,
Okay.
I had no idea.
there literally is a species called the Asian rhino.
Are they endangered? I feel like they're
Probably
Everything's
every rhino
endangered.
is endangered.
Guys, humans suck. There's a clan of rhinos that like guard prison, and I was like, "Psh, are there even rhinos in Asia?" So I had to ask that. This next part that I wrote down.
They're also known as Sumatran rhinos.
Hey, good for you, nerd. And
I
so,
also just looked that up.
oh, even more nerdy. You do research, idiot. What was?
I don't know.
Oh my
Ufang.
gosh.
Ufang.
No, I
Ugu?
had it, and then you said that. And
Something
I,
like that.
Master Oogway.
Master Oogway. Guys, Master Oogway has a vision that the evil tiger, what's his name? Lynx,
Tai
whatever.
Lung.
Tai Lung. Thank you. Gosh.
We're probably like accidentally swearing in another language.
MVP right here. Master Oogway has a vision that the evil Tai Lung is coming back, and then literally just pieces out.
Pulls a Master Luke.
Yeah, and he just like disintegrates. He transcends time into the afterlife, and he literally just like pieces out. It's like,
Yeah.
you guys
Good
can
luck.
deal with it. Like I defeated him last time. It's not my problem anymore. Bye.
Deuces.
I
Good
was
luck,
like-
guys.
I'm sitting on the couch. I was like,
Yeah. But he did it.
To motivate.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
bruh, what if they didn't answer the call? But then I guess it wouldn't be Uguay's problem because he'd be deaded.
He's
I'm one with the earth. The earth is with me.
That's a whole other like.
It's a
I love
different
that movie
universe?
too.
Okay.
I love that movie.
I
I'm
did
one with the
like-
force, and the force is with me.
That was from Rogue One, which I have a funny
Oh, I did
story
see Rogue
about.
One. I like Rogue One.
Fantastic movie.
I have a
I'm not
fu-
like a huge Star Wars nerd, but I said not huge. I enjoy them.
I'm going to tell a quick story that Zach isn't going to be able to expound upon, otherwise it's a rabbit trail. And Lex says, "What happened to the two people that were on the beach?" And I was like, "They died." And she was like, "What?" And I was like, "That was the point of their movie.
did
They're
she-
sacrificing themselves."
How did she miss the part where they're standing on the beach and the wall of like laser blast vapors come and envelops them? Like,
I love my wife. Um,
Lex,
would-
if you
did you
can
have more
hear
notes?
us.
She-
Oh yeah, yeah. I liked how much of an homage it was to like old school kung fu movies.
I don't know.
I heard a noise.
I heard
No,
a
it's
beep.
fine.
Badoo.
But yeah, I used to growing up love watching old kung fu movies, especially like Jackie Chan movies and stuff.
Oh,
And it was really like seriously an
It
homage
was.
to old school kung fu movies.
Yeah, the
It's
fight scenes
like-
were great.
The fight scenes were, especially the dumpling scene
Yeah.
where he's like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yes.
I'd have one." I was like, that. I was like, this is awesome. This is great.
Cool, like classic kung fu movie stuff in animated and make it not look dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
Like when he's breaking out of the prison, I thought that was awesome too.
Yeah.
It's
I enjoyed the soundtrack and the score again. I think it was another really well
Yeah.
done music. Just for scenes and in general. Yes, sir.
Well, one of the things I also wanted to hit on was that I know you mentioned like Gulliver's Travel.
the very beginning when he first gets to the training palace place and he's just getting destroyed by all the training equipment and then he gets hit in the nuts and he goes, "Oh, my tenders."
Yeah.
I laughed out loud at that. I wrote that down. My tenders. And now
my
I'm gonna
tender-
start referring to my tenders whenever that happens.
That's awesome.
My
That was
tenders.
really funny.
But I love because he still plays up the like goofy, dumpy, klutzy,
Yeah.
like
Totally.
dude, and I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like even the fact when he's climbing the stairs, trying to get up, and it's like 10,000 steps, and he gets up to the top and just like collapses.
Right.
Or when he's trying to get back up to the top, when Tai Lung gets up
I
there,
was
and
just
he's
gonna say that.
and he's racing to like finish the fight, and he gets up to the top, and he's like, "Okay, just give me a couple minutes, catch my breath, then I'm totally gonna kick your butt." Whoo, okay.
You did that really well.
Yeah. I actually thought you were out of breath for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I'm experienced with being out of breath. I don't know.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I've exercised a lot in my life.
Okay. Weird flex, but okay.
Wow.
Nerd. Anything
I'm
else you
also
want to
punching
add
out.
there?
I think that is it. Yeah.
All right. Do we want to grade this bad boy?
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
It was,
I'm gonna give it real grades.
All right. So first, the enjoyment of Kung Fu Panda. Let's go this way. Nick goes first now.
I think that. I mean, I definitely enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed it a little bit less than I enjoyed.
Easy
Ghost
person.
Because I think it was just.
He's an alcoholic.
I think it's just because it was like a lot of the humor was not lost on me, but it's definitely like geared towards a younger audience, which I can still appreciate. But I just felt like Gulliver's Travels was like geared more towards like my age group and the time I grew up. But I still
Okay.
enjoyed this quite a bit. I'll give it a
I feel
7.
you.
I'll give it a solid
Okay.
7.
I mean, that's a great score.
And that's just my personal enjoyment. Like I said, I definitely think this is clearly a better movie than Gulliver's Travels.
Yeah.
But based on my subjective enjoyment of it.
I'm also gonna give it a 7. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I give it a 7.
I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
8.
Like it's not a perfect movie, but I really love this.
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It was good. I'm glad I saw it.
All right. Now, rewatchability, Nick.
I think I would be more likely to rewatch this than I would Gulliver's Travels.
Oh, for sure.
And I think there would be a lot of little things that I would pick up on that I missed the first time. What did I put? I put 4 for that. I'll probably give this one a 6.
Okay, that's good. Honestly, I'm gonna give the rewatchability, which seems to. It's weird to give rewatchability a higher score than enjoyment, but like,
Rewatched it. I've already seen it a couple times, 2-3 times. I'm gonna rewatch it again because I enjoy it. So I'm not gonna give it a 10 because it's not like, oh, if there's a movie I'm gonna rewatch, I'm going to Kung Fu Panda first. No, but I know I'm definitely gonna rewatch it.
I feel like this is. It could be a fun like comfort movie. You know, like,
Yeah.
You don't know what to do one night. You're like, oh, let's just watch Kung Fu Panda.
It's just fun, goofy, like
I feel it. Quotability.
I was surprised
skadoosh.
that only happens once in this movie because I remember like everybody was quoting that back in the day. But that might be for the sequels. I don't know. But I remember hearing skadoosh like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And then it happens one time at the end, which I was very surprised. But it is pretty quotable. Like I said, my tenders. I mean, that got me. That was funny. And I feel like the more you rewatched it, the more quotes would stick out to you. I will give it a 6.
It's a good score.
Solid score.
I kind of feel the same. I'm going to go a little bit low. I'm going to go 4.8 for my quotability.
I'm gonna go with Nick on this with a 6 because there are a lot of quotable lines in this movie. It's not one that you watch once and automatically there's like all these quotes that just stick in your brain, but there are a few that'll automatically stick, and then as you like you said, as you watch it more, there's lots of things that you can continue to quote. So, and it is like fun quotes like my tenders or the skadoosh or the not the whooshy finger hold.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
so there's some fun stuff in there.
Storyline. I liked the storyline. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the old kung fu movies, and that stuff really hits close to home for me. And I always like a good overcoming the odds story.
Of course.
So I will give it an 8.3.
My storyline is going to be up there too because I think the storyline was really, really, really good. And same thing, like kung fu movies. I mean, it made a children's movie true to the kung fu movies I watched with my
Right.
dad growing up. I'll just make it simple. I'll give it an 8.3 as well.
Nice.
So I really like the storyline for the same things that you guys said, but it also like has some really good character. Not only Poe's character, but the other characters like the Furious Five, for Master Shifu, like because it's not just developing Poe's character; it's developing Master Shifu. It's
Right.
developing the other kung fu
Even the
masters, like
tigress.
right,
Yeah.
like there's a lot of cool character development and stuff that happens individually and as a team, and it was a cool story, I think, with like Master Shifu and how Tai Lung was his apprentice, his pupil that he had taken in, and then he turns bad, and then he doesn't believe in Poe. Poe ends up being the Dragon Warrior. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff there that I thought was fantastic storytelling. So I'll give it a 9.
There's one major plot point that we didn't touch on, and it's when he gets the dragon scroll at the end.
Oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
You know, he opens the scroll and there's nothing.
Mhm.
It's just like a reflective scroll.
Be yourself.
Aggressive. Be aggressive. No? Okay.
Now Jack Black in this role, I thought
How
was
important is Jack Black in the
very
role of
important. I don't
Poe?
think that. I really don't. Panda,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
It's almost like the panda's based on Jack
Right.
Black. You know,
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the same thing as Gulliver's Travel. That could do the role, but it's just not going to be.
like, chubby, funny, goofy.
I'm right
actors.
here.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing. Except for Mr. Exercise over there.
I'm not Mr. X.
Mr. 75 Soft.
I got a little.
But like,
Give us a number.
Are we rushing along here? We're
No.
running out of time.
I'm just,
I was just,
Number now.
give the people what they want.
Yeah.
they want a number.
They want a number.
They want the
9.5, okay?
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say 9.5. I mean, you think the other chubby guys like Seth Rogen to be funny, but he doesn't bring the same stuff.
Not even
And
close.
the fact
No.
that Seth Rogen is actually in this
Right.
movie,
Or like,
but he didn't get the part of Poe.
right.
Okay, that implies that, or that infers that he tried to get the part of Poe.
He probably did. Maybe
What do
he
you think
did.
he tried at? And they were like, "No, you're not good enough, but here's a lesser role for you."
That happens a lot.
That happens a lot where
Not
they
to
try
Seth
out
Rogen.
for
Not to Seth
like,
Rogen.
like the main cast, and they're like, "No, but we've got another character that you would fit
Not
well
to Seth
into."
Rogen.
I think me and Nick are outvoting you right now. I think
That's
I wouldn't
weird.
doubt it.
It's weird that that's allowed to happen.
Zach and I are going to start our own podcast.
Oh, shots fired.
Never mind. I'm not gonna say anything right now. Like I want to give it a perfect 10. But
He makes
Yeah,
He
Yeah.
really does.
I'm gonna stick with my score from the last one, 9.9. It
a
is
true
it
Jack
is-
Black fan.
Yeah.
Did you have any more fun facts about Jack Black?
Oh,
That
yeah, too.
too? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's come on.
His first TV credit was in an Atari commercial. Have you seen it?
Huh.
No.
I have not.
believe it's for the game Pitfall.
Huh.
And he's dressed up like Indiana Jones, and he even puts on a fake little accent.
So we're gonna have to. We're gonna.
These things right now. You'll see it on the screen. That's just me imagining. You really won't.
I don't know if I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm allowed
Maybe we can
to.
put a
Screen.
link in the
How the
description.
the
I don't know.
copyright things work.
I don't know
and what
how.
I'll
we can
reach
show
out to
and not
Mr.
show.
Black himself and see
Yeah.
what we can do.
Just
Um,
use YouTube, guys.
yeah, just
Come on.
Just Google.
You're already watching our video. On
Use the
YouTube.
Google on the internet machine.
Just open up
Everybody
another
that's
window.
consuming this knows how to work the internet, so you can find it.
Correct.
Okay,
Use the
also,
interwebs.
Yes.
His parents,
Okay.
Judith Lois Black, were rocket scientists.
I knew that.
His mother actually worked on the Hubble Space Telescope.
I feel like I'd heard sick.
That's pretty crazy.
That is. Fun
Parents
fact.
are smart people.
I found more, but I was gonna save them.
Yeah, we have
subsequent
16
episodes.
of these episodes to
Yeah,
film.
I don't know if I can.
Wow.
But I think I might be able to.
Want to add or just
Let's see. Anything to add?
Jack Black is national treasure.
Jack Black is a national treasure.
Yes.
I really like his. I think his music and his stuff with Tenacious D really gets kind of overshadowed by his movies, but I think his musical stuff and his like sketch comedy that he did with Tenacious D was even funnier. Like to me,
it's
that,
amazing.
that hits closer to home to me than most of his movies. Wanted to.
Yeah.
He really could.
But it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
That is true.
I'm not familiar. Is that a reference to something?
'Cause it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. I'm just thinking of the credits of School of Rock rolling in.
We should get credits. That's a lot of work for me, I think. No, except not really, because there's only like 3 things I'd have to put in the credits.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining us for the first episode of the Jack Black Showdown series with the My Life Your Life Together movie squad. I'm working on shirts to make up, so we'll be wearing like
The movie
themed
squad shirts.
yeah, themed shirts in the future. But before that,
You could get cartoon caricatures.
that
That's a good idea.
That's
I
awesome.
can't do that. For now, we're just working
On
some
that
simple
note-
text shirts, which will be in the store as well, so you guys can watch them, feel a part of this, and not watch them, wear them while you watch this and be a part of this.
Oh, are we gonna spin the wheel?
That's I yeah, not right now.
Oh, give you something to look forward to.
Yes.
And
Um,
encourage you at home to watch the next movies before we do the next episode.
Yeah.
I guess we could do that.
So you can play along
I
with
don't.
us.
I'm gonna cry. I want to hit stop together at the same time. If you have to pee, go pee, and then we'll do
I do have.
the spinning the wheels.
Cause it's a long way to the top if you wanna rock